Good morning, everybody. I'm going to get started here in just a minute. It's 11:59, so we'll just see if a couple of people are still logging on, and then we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. I feel like I'm among friends because I've worked with you, Kim, and Elizabeth in the past in previous jobs. So it's nice to see you all. It's nice to see you too.
God, I need to mute this.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Got lots of people on already, so I think we're good. All right, so for those of you that have not met me yet, my name is Kim, and I work with Cornell Cooperative Extension SNAP Ed program. I am a community nutrition educator. If you pre-registered, you should have gotten the handouts. If you did not, you can send me a message in chat box and I will send that to you. Today, we're sharing tips from my plate from my family about family meals. We probably all can relate with the statement, family meals aren't always perfect, but you can enjoy each other while enjoying family meals. So let's start by hearing from a mom about her struggle with mealtime.
Mom, what are we having for dinner?
I hated hearing that question, and a lot of the times, I just didn't have an answer. Like most moms, I do want my family to eat healthy, and I know things have to change. With help from the nutrition educator, I learned that my family needs to increase fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And even though we really like sugary foods and salty snacks, we need to find ways to cut back. I needed a plan to change what I was eating and how I was eating it. But between work and school and sports, I just had no time. I was so busy.
All right, so that probably sounds familiar to some of us or all of us, maybe. I was even thinking when could hear her dog in the background. Sometimes it's the dogs that get me when I've fed everybody and now I have to feed the dogs too. You know, that feeling of one more thing you have to do. So that's definitely relatable what she said. And just like April, many of us struggle to get dinner together. And that's why today we'll be talking about ways to plan meals that are easy, affordable, healthy, and fast. We'll talk about shopping for low-cost foods from all the food groups, how to save time when cooking meals, and involve children in making meals. So let's everybody start with just sharing in the chat box if you're comfortable, and let me know what you do to decide on what's for dinner during the week. Is it something that's planned? Is it something at 6 o'clock you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Let's just share with each other how that goes right now. Plan around sports and activities. Yep. I have to do the same thing. Yeah. My husband sometimes while we're eating dinner will say, okay, what's for dinner tomorrow night? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm not ready to plan tomorrow. So I get that, Lindsay. 1 or 2 large meals. That's a great way to go for sure. And adding the extra veggies. I like that. I know even with all of our planning, some nights My husband and I just kind of look at each other like, what happened? We don't have anything planned. Frozen foods the night before to thaw. Yep, we do that. Texting in the afternoon to plan the evening. Yep. Looking in the refrigerator and freezer, that's good. And saying, okay, what do we need to use up here, right? A lot of times towards the end of the week, that's what we're doing, is looking in the refrigerator going, there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right, well, thanks everybody for sharing. So think about your favorite family meal that you can whip together with your eyes closed. We all have one or two of those. And now ask yourself these questions. Is it healthy? Is it quick? And is it low cost? And if you answered no to any of these questions, let's think about making a change. Planning meals can help you eat healthy, save time, and save money. It's easy to build a healthy meal when we use simple, affordable foods from all of the food groups. Many of you have probably seen this image before. My plate illustrates the 5 food groups that are building blocks for a healthy diet. Before you eat, think about what goes on your plate, in your cup, and in your bowl. It's a simple visual reminder to help us eat healthier. And when we look at this picture, we're reminded that we should make half of our plate fruits and vegetables. Buy fruit and vegetables that are dried, frozen, fresh, or canned. If you do go for the cans, when you're choosing fruit, make sure it's packed in water or 100% juice. I like to get peaches packed in water that I'll add into my smoothie because there's something I can have year round that I like the flavor of, just as an example. If you do get canned vegetables, make sure you're rinsing them really well and check those labels to see if it's low in salt. I really like beans a lot, and I have a pressure cooker, so a lot of times we eat beans, but I always like to have a couple of cans of beans around too, just to have something quick and easy. And I always make sure I rinse them really well. When considering fruit, make sure you're focusing on whole fruit and not fruit juice. If you sat through some of my other lessons, you know we should not be having more than 1 cup of juice a day, and the rest of it should definitely come from whole fruits or all of it. And if you have children shouldn't have more than half a cup of fruit juice, and the rest of it should come from whole fruits. And with veggies, you want to vary your veggies. Make sure you're eating the rainbow, so we're getting all kinds of nutrients. If you're having dairy, sometimes it's good to switch to fat-free and low-fat milk, depending on what else you're eating throughout the day. Fat-free and low-fat options have the same amount of calcium without all the fat. Make at least half of your grains whole grains. Make a small change by switching from refined grains to whole grains like brown rice, oatmeal, or whole wheat pasta for extra fiber and nutrients. I also suggest people, if you are just starting out with whole grains, maybe make half brown rice and half white rice and mix the two together so you can adjust your taste buds. And you do adjust your taste buds, you do get used to it. And whole grains don't have to cost more, so just make sure you're comparing prices and not going for some fancy packaging to sell you whole grains, because you can get Hannaford brown rice and it's just as good as what other a name brand that you're going to find. Okay, so vary your protein routine by choosing between animal and plant sources. Choosing lean cuts of meat when they're on sale can help you save money. Substituting beans for ground meat can help reduce fat and cost. I always suggest beans and eggs, especially right now with everything being so expensive. Those are great ways to get protein in your diet. Play around with them, find different ways to add some good flavor to them. And that can be a replacement for meat because oftentimes protein foods are the most expensive. And limit extras like sodium, sugar, and saturated fat. Remember, everything we eat and drink over time matters. Eating a balanced diet that includes whole fruits, a variety of vegetables, whole grains, low-fat dairy, and low-fat protein will help ensure that our bodies stay healthy. We're going to dive a little bit into whole grains right now. Whole grains are one of the food groups that many people do not get enough of, and there's a lot of confusion about it too. The great thing about whole grains is that they can be eaten at any meal and they can be added to many recipes. You want to make sure there is a symbol that you can look for, and you'll see that in a video that I show at the end. If you don't see the symbol, the best thing to do is look at the ingredients and make sure the very first ingredient says whole. So it should say whole wheat flour. If it just says wheat flour, that's not a whole grain. Sometimes food manufacturers will dye it brown so that it looks like it's whole wheat, but it's not. So checking those labels is really important. And things like enriched grains and multigrain, and sometimes they'll even say 7-grain or something like that. But then you look at the ingredients and they're not actually whole grain. So check the labels. But I'm going to show you a video right now that can give you some suggestions on how to find whole grains.
Hi, I'm Liz Weiss, registered dietitian, cookbook author, and family nutrition expert. Healthy, convenient, and budget-friendly meals start with a whole grain foundation. And lucky for all of us, whole grains combine well with other healthy foods, such as fruits, vegetables, lean meats, seafood, and soy foods. You can enjoy whole grains on any budget, and thanks to their amazing versatility, you can have a different and delicious low-cost meal every day of the week. Let me give you a few examples. Try orange chicken and vegetable rice bowls made with bell peppers, broccoli, and carrots, or primavera pasta salad made with lots of vegetables and whole wheat penne pasta. Here are some of my favorite budget-friendly cooking and shopping tips to help you make half your grains whole grains. Cook once and eat all week. Cooked brown or wild rice, quinoa, and pasta can be stored in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days, and cooked rice can even be frozen for up to 6 months. When whole wheat pasta, brown rice, bulgur, or quinoa are on sale, stock up and use them in soups, stews, salads, casseroles, or stir fries. You can also buy them in bulk and then store in a cool, dry place in your kitchen. At breakfast, try oatmeal, whole grain cereal, whole wheat toast, or a whole grain breakfast burrito. They're easy to prepare and inexpensive. Substitute a whole grain product for a refined grain product, or combine cooked whole grains with refined grains in one simple dish. Eating grains, especially whole grains, provides health benefits. People who eat whole grains as part of a healthy diet have a reduced risk of heart disease and other chronic conditions. Enriched and whole grains provide nutrients such as B vitamins and minerals, and they're vital for the health and maintenance of our bodies. And whole grains also provide dietary fiber. When choosing grains for your plate, consider the many types available to you and choose a variety that fit your budget. Eating an assortment of grains can ensure that you get more nutrients in your diet, especially fiber, and they help to make your meals and snacks more interesting and exciting. For more information, go to choosemyplate.gov.
All right, so hopefully that gave you some good ideas. And you can check out the handouts that I sent you for more tips about making healthy meals with whole grains, low-fat dairy, and lean proteins. So now we're going to shift our focus and talk about saving time. Do you ever feel rushed during the week when it comes to making meals? Sometimes we take shortcuts and serve processed foods or frozen dishes that aren't healthy just to save time. Try these kitchen time savers to cut back on time needed to prepare so you can enjoy family meals together. You can save time for future meals by making extra of certain ingredients. So if you're chopping up onions, chop up 2 onions and have one ready to go for the next meal that you're making. Put it in the fridge or the freezer. And you can do the same thing with lean meat. So if you're making salmon one night, make some extra. If you're making chicken breast one night, make some extra. Whenever I make like brown rice or barley or one of those, I make a lot because they take longer to cook. So I will make a lot of it and then I'll put it in the refrigerator, and that'll be part of my lunch and my dinner for the rest of the week too. You can also try doubling your recipe. So that's, I think somebody suggested that earlier too, make a couple of really big meals. And that way, when you're planning around sports and activities, you can say, okay, Monday night I have time, I'm going to make a really big meal, and that's going to get us through for 2 or 3 days or whatever you need. And if you do some extra chopping and things like that, so you can throw like a quesadilla or a stir fry together for the third night, then that's a great way to go. Have some extra stuff laying around and double that recipe, which goes along with our recommendation of cook when you have more time, whether it's on the weekend or it's one of those weeknights that there isn't the sports and activities and stuff like that going on. Put some time in to make some extra. And sometimes you're not up for all that prep. Sometimes you don't have the time, but serving quick meals and snacks that are no cook can be a great way to go. So salads, sandwiches, and healthy wraps are quick and healthy. You just want to try to include 3 food groups in your no cook meals. And find simple recipes. Sometimes we look for complicated recipes because they look like a lot of fun. And maybe if it's a Sunday and you have all day, that's great to do. But really try to look for simple recipes that only have a few ingredients to prepare. And before you start cooking, make sure you have everything you need. Organizing your ingredients will cut back on the time spent searching for missing ingredients and make it easier to prepare. By taking the stress and hassle out of cooking, you have more time to enjoy it and spend with your loved ones. I'm going to put our website in here. In case anybody has not checked it out yet, there is lots of cooking demos. You can watch videos. There's also just recipes in there. During the pandemic, when we couldn't go out and do community classes, we really made a lot of cooking demos. So you can find a ton of cooking demos for every meal, even snacks that are low cost and easy to make. So check that out. All right, so now let's talk about saving money. So think about some things that you do right now. I bet everybody right now is thinking even more about it because the cost of money is going up. So just share in the chat box some things that you do right now to try and save money on food. Brew coffee at home, yes. You can see I'm drinking my second cup that I brewed at home this morning. Buying in bulk. Coupons and store sales. Frozen, if not fresh, is a great way to go. The farmers markets, right? It's a great time to start hitting the farmers markets. I found some beautiful asparagus this past weekend that wasn't too expensive. Buying in bulk, shopping sales, and cutting coupons. Yep. Resist the urge to eat out. That one is so hard some weeks, I know. If we do it, we try to make sure, okay, it's just once a week. And sometimes not even that, but it does add up. All right. Thank you for sharing all of those. I like it when participants get ideas from each other too. And you guys hit most of the things that we're going to talk about here. So making a shopping list, being prepared when you go shopping. And one thing I like to throw out there is don't go shopping when you're hungry, because then you're going to buy things that are not on your list. Your body's in a mode where it's craving things. And it's, if you're hungry, your blood sugar is low. So you're more likely to reach for cookies or even chips or things like that that are going to give you an instant hit on that blood sugar. So it's better to make sure that you have a full stomach before you go shopping. So have your shopping list and then don't go hungry once you go so you can stick to your list. And like you guys said, using coupons, there's all kinds of apps you can look for that have coupons on them so that you don't have to clip them if you don't want to do that. Store rewards is great too. I live right down the street from Price Chopper. I don't always find their prices to be the best, but because it's only a couple of blocks away, I do go there a couple of times a week. And I find that once every couple of weeks, I kind of get everything for free that I'm walking out of there with, because I use that store rewards all the time and they're giving me money back for using their store. So it's worth it to go online to a store that you go to all the time and just get a store rewards card. And choose foods that cost less all year long. So things like apples, bananas, onions, green peppers, carrots, those types of things are low cost all year long. And I know I mentioned this earlier, usually your protein foods are the most expensive. So think of beans and eggs and try to find ways to use those throughout your week. Frozen vegetables, when the fresh ones are not in season, luckily all of our stuff is going to be coming in season soon, but those frozen vegetables are great during the winter time because they do save you money and they're just as nutritious as fresh. And buying store brands. So if you are buying those frozen vegetables, chances are if you're getting the name brand, you're getting the same food as you would if you got the store brand, because a lot of times they come from the same farms and then they're just brought to different places and packaged and distributed differently. So you're really just paying for that store brand, even though it's the same food that came from the same farm. So check out some store brands. If you're used to getting name brands, think about why you do. A lot of times we get name brands because that's always what our parents got, or there's a lot of work that goes into marketing when we're very young so that we get stuck on a product for the rest of our life. So maybe try and change things up and go for store brands and see what you think. Stock your kitchen up, buy foods that are low cost, or buy foods that are handy to have around that are on sale too. So think of canned beans, like I said, canned fish like tuna fish, low salt, low sodium vegetables and soups. Sometimes the canned chilies, if you look, they are low in saturated fat and sodium, and those can be handy to have around too. And then have your whole grains like whole grain pasta, brown rice, barley, bulgur, quinoa, whatever you like to have, oats, stuff like that. When they're on sale, buy a lot of them so that you're stocked up. Buy fruits and vegetables when they're in season. Some fruits and vegetables, such as peaches or corn, are cheaper when you buy them in season. So look for sales in the grocery store and your local farmers market for cheaper choices. Many farmers market accept SNAP benefits now. So go online and look and see which ones accept SNAP benefits and try to go to those. Especially right now, things are in season, so the produce is going to be low cost, and it cuts out the middleman by not going to the grocery store. One story that I like to share with people is my family likes to eat a lot of berries. We have them in smoothies, pancakes. We like them just eating them plain. A lot of times I make it for dessert with some heavy whipping cream, a little heavy whipping cream to go with it. So anyways, I will buy tons of berries when they're in season. I'll buy like double what I know we're going to use for the week. And I'll bring it home and wash and cut half of it and put it in the freezer. So every week I'm buying tons and tons of berries, loading up my freezer. And then I still have, we're about to hit berry season, like a half of a bag of blueberries and strawberries left. So that lasts me for almost the whole winter. So that's one of my tips that I'd like to share. You can do that with vegetables too. And Lindsay's going to do that this year. I know you sat through a couple of my classes last year. I loved using that example. Yep. All right. All right, so now let's talk about letting your family eat or help make the meals, which I have kids. I know that sometimes those little pictures aren't exactly how it goes when you let your kids help. But here's some tips to let them do it. And it really does help them enjoy cooking, help them enjoy food, and it gets them to try other things too, which is something that we need to do, right? So first of all, keep it simple. We already talked about this with the recipes, but healthy and creative meals don't have to be complicated. A simpler menu will make it easier for your family to be able to help. Allow your family to help. So divide up jobs, have somebody wash, measure, chop, peel, stir, depending on the age of your kids. I've been teaching my kids some knife skills and letting them use the knife now that they're 10 and 11, things like that, so that they are going to know how to cook and they have some agency in the choices of what's going into their bodies. So they're like, let them pick out a vegetable for the night or something like that. Be a good role model. Let your child see you preparing and enjoying different kinds of vegetables, fruits, and grains during meals. And remember, kids love to be in the kitchen. With help, you can get more done and have more time to enjoy your family. All right, so now we're going to kind of take all the stuff we just talked about and apply it to a couple of different recipes. The recipes that I'm getting are from Choose My Plate Kitchen. That's another place you can go to find low-cost meals. The first one that we're going to look at is chicken pasta. It's a filling meal that packs lots of nutrition. So we've got a box of penne pasta, pre-cooked chicken strips, cheddar, shredded cheddar cheese, mozzarella, milk, chicken broth, salt, and ground black pepper. So let's start with eat healthy. What are some things we can do to modify this recipe to make it a little bit healthier? Whole grain penne and low fat cheese. Yep. Add a vegetable. Yes, I would put some broccoli or spinach or, whatever you like in there to add vegetables to it. All right, those were great. How about saving time? What's something that we can do? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. What's something we can do to save time? The only thing I can think of that when we went through the tips is pre-cook the pasta. There you go. And maybe double the recipe, right? That's something that we talked about a couple of times is double the recipe. Make a lot over the weekend and save extra for the week. Yeah, exactly, Lindsay. Yep. Or you can even double the recipe and put some in the freezer too, so that a couple weeks from now, maybe you need something real fast and you got it. All right, how about saving money? What can we do to save money here? Buy the chicken in bulk. Yep, it says pre-cooked chicken strips. That way you're paying for convenient costs when you get pre-cooked. So buying the chicken in bulk and then cooking it yourself. Yep, do your own. Exactly, Sarah. I was also thinking the pasta, you could buy the pasta in bulk or buy it when it's on sale and, buy one, get one free. Make sure you're get that one free or buy 4 of them even. Store brands, exactly. Yeah. All right, how about letting your family help? What's something we can let the kids do here? And use whatever pasta is cheapest. That's right, Lindsay. That's another one that we didn't say, but that's a good idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be penne. What are we going to let our kids do now? Measure the ingredients. There you go. Pour in the cheese. If you're adding a vegetable, maybe let them pick out what vegetable is going to go in and let them help you wash it and get it ready. All right, those are great ideas. Let's look at one more recipe. So this is a vegetable fried rice, and it's a tasty dish. You just have to add a protein to it, whether it's egg. I make things like this and then put a hard-boiled egg over it. I like to do that. But you could also, or not a hard-boiled egg, a fried egg so that the yolk is runny. But you could also add beans or a type of meat to it too. So let's look at the ingredients here. We've got 2 cups of white rice, vegetable oil, celery, onion, a package of frozen veggies, soy sauce, and a dash of pepper. So what kind of things can we do to make it healthier? Let's look at that first. Brown rice. Yep. More veggies. Yep. Brown rice and more veggies is not just more nutritious. It's not more nutrients, but it's also adding a lot of fiber to it too. Yep, the type of oil. There's a lot of information on vegetable oil. It is inexpensive, so I don't like to discourage people, but olive oil and other types of oils are probably going to be better for you. Low sodium soy sauce. That's a great one. How about saving time? Anybody have some ideas on how we can save time preparing this? Yep. Cook the rice in advance. So maybe Sunday you made a bunch of brown rice and now you've got it ready to go. I would even say you could cut out the celery and onion and just use a whole bunch of frozen veggies too. Chop the veggies in advance, right? Have them ready to go. If you're cutting up onions the night before, you've got your onion ready to go. How about saving money? Anybody have ideas on how to save money for this one? Buying the rice in bulk. Yep. And then when you're considering your protein, again, like an egg or a bean is going to be inexpensive, or if you've bought in some meat in bulk too. And what's something we can do to let the kids help? Help measure. Stir, yeah. This would be a fun one to stir up because there's so many things in there. And easy to stir too. I would say once again, when you're picking out the frozen veggies, maybe let them pick the veggies that are going to go in and give them some choices. Sprinkle the soy and pepper. Yeah, let them season it and add some flavor to it. It's good for them to learn about seasonings and flavor too. All right, you guys had some great examples there. Good ideas. All right, so here's another thing that we could do. Let them be a food critic. So I did this with my kids when they were younger. I would let them pick out a couple of things that were going to go in, so that way they were less of a critic. But they can choose, they can rate things like on the visual appeal, or maybe let them set it up and then we can rate the visual appeal, the smell, the taste, the texture. Getting them involved in things like that is going to encourage them to eat healthier. Yeah, that's great. Your daughter loves to do that with new food, right? I know. And when you let them do that, it gives them, a sense of belonging to the meal. It gives them some agency over what they're eating too, because they can say, okay, I put this together, so I'm going to rate this as a high number on the visual appeal or whatever it is. All right. So that wraps it up. We're just going to review here. Remember to try to plan meals that are easy, affordable, healthy, and fast. Shop for low-cost foods from all of the food groups. And find fun ways to involve children and the whole family in making meals. Using these tips can help you find your healthy eating style. Everything you eat and drink over time matters and can help you be healthier now and in the future. All right, so you guys may have noticed a theme with this curriculum this month. We're gonna set some goals. So I'm just gonna pull this up real quick. And this is multiple choices. So just pick out one or two or as many as you want. Try to keep it simple, depending on where you're starting from, and pick a couple of things that you can stick to this week and maybe expand upon from there. All right. I'll share that so you guys can see. Our most popular one was plan your meals out and write a shopping list. There you go. That is a good one. Once you start doing it, it gets easier and easier too. You'll get that shopping list done in no time. Making 2 recipes involving the kids. That's a good one. If you know, especially if you've never done it before. It can get frustrating sometimes, so you might not want to do it every night, but doing it once or twice a week is going to help them make some decisions and like the food that they're eating better too. So those are all great. I'm glad you guys are setting some good goals. Okay, I'm going to back out of here so we can do the cooking demo for the week. We're going to look at making a rice bowl. While I do that, as you know, if you haven't been here before, this is just for my paperwork. Got to know who's here. And I will pull up that cooking demo. You guys do that. All right. Okay, thank you for doing that. And I will pull up our demo. This is a rice bowl.
This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Everything you eat over time matters. One tip for not going overboard during the holidays is to make sure that you have a nice healthy breakfast that fills you up, so you're not showing up to the celebration starving and ready to eat everything in sight. I'm going to show you how to make a nice healthy rice bowl that's going to keep you full longer than most traditional breakfasts would. Remember, you want to make half of your grains whole grains. During the holidays, sometimes that can be hard if other people are cooking. So why not get ahead of the game and start your day the whole grain way?
So why start your day the whole grain way? Have you ever wondered why brown rice is brown and white rice is white? The brown rice has a whole grain intact. The outer layer is the bran. That contains fiber along with other vitamins and minerals. That little section you see is the germ. That contains antioxidants along with other vitamins and minerals. When you eat a refined grain or an enriched grain, the bran and the germ are stripped off, leaving you with nothing but the starchy center. There are so many reasons to go for the whole grain. It helps with digestion by acting like a broom, sweeping out your digestive tract. It helps with weight management by filling you up and keeping you full. It helps reduce the risk of heart disease, certain cancers, and other chronic disease. If you really prefer white rice over brown rice, go for some whole wheat bread, popcorn, or whole grain cereal to make sure half of your grains are whole grains. When looking for whole grain products, make sure you look for this symbol. If you don't see this symbol, check the ingredient list. Make sure that the first ingredient listed says whole. Don't be fooled by enriched, multigrain, or wheat flour. Make sure it says whole grain or whole wheat. Now that you know why to make half of your grains whole grains, let's assemble our rice bowl. I have brown rice to start. You want to cook while you have time. Brown rice will take longer than white rice, so I made a double batch for my stir fry last night. and that gave me enough left over for 1 cup of brown rice and my breakfast for the next couple of days. I'm going to scramble 1 egg with some spinach. Since spinach cooks down, I'm going to add that first. A good handful will do it, with a little bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking and some salt and pepper. Once it's cooked down, I'll add the eggs and mix them together. If you don't like eggs, this would be good with some black beans too. Now I'm going to vary my veggies so I make sure I get a variety of nutrients. I have chopped up peppers and tomatoes that I'm going to add. The fun thing about this dish is that you can add any toppings that you like. I'm sure you have a few ideas of your own that you think would go great on this. We'll talk more about this next week, but you want to remember to vary your veggies when you choose your toppings and make this a colorful dish. My final topping is fat-free yogurt mixed with some lime. Remember, you want to move to low-fat and fat-free dairy. This dollop will add good flavor and some extra calcium with no added fat. And add a little hot sauce to finish this off.
All right, now for my favorite part. I get to taste it. I'll let you know how it is. Savory and full of flavor.
When it comes to fruit, you want to focus on whole fruit. It's really better to eat an orange than drink orange juice because you get more fiber and fewer calories. If you like to have a glass of orange juice with your breakfast, just have 1 small glass a day. A medium-sized fruit like this orange is equal to about 1 cup, which is also equal to this half cup of juice. When I chose orange juice, I made sure that it said 100% juice. It's got to say 100% juice, otherwise it's going to have added sugar and flavor to it. And that goes into our fruit category. We also have our mixed vegetables, our egg is protein, our brown rice is a whole grain, and we have our yogurt sauce that we topped it off with, giving us something from all 5 food groups.
Now, if you don't want to make the brown rice, another alternative would be to put all of this in a whole wheat wrap and make yourself a breakfast burrito. Either way, it's a great way to start your day the whole grain way. So good.
Power up with whole grains.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
I have one more poll for you guys to fill out. This is also for my paperwork. This one's a little bit bigger, so just make sure that you scroll down to the bottom and hit submit when you're done. And if anybody has any questions, this is a good time to either unmute or put it in the chat box and let me know. And I should say, if you don't have any questions and you have filled out the survey, then you're, free to go. This is the end of the class. Next week is going to be family time, active and fun. It's going to be more focused on physical activity. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, Myra. And I hope to see you all next week. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic weekend. So please go out and enjoy that sunshine. Get some vitamin D and move your body, do some walks.
I won't
No
be here
problem,
next
Chris.
week because I'll be out of town, but it's been nice seeing you again, Kim. Hopefully I'll see you in the future.
All right, sounds great. We'll be doing this next month too, but I will be doing live cooking demos next month. So I'll be sending out some information about that.
Great, thanks.
Yep. All right, looks like everybody filled out the poll. Thank you everyone for doing that and have a great weekend.